This episode is brought to you by Twizzlers. Long day, late night, feeling a little bored? Twizzlers is the ultimate sidekick for any moment of the day, no matter what kind of day you're having. The perfect level of sweet and a fun excuse to sit back and relax. Unwind with Twizzlers. To buy now, visit Hersheyland.com/Twizzlers.
If you're thinking, I should go for a run today, but it looks like it could rain, Sierra says save on epic rain jackets. If you're also thinking, but I can't go out in these beat-up old running shoes, Sierra says save on top brand running shoes. And if you're still thinking, but I'm also busy performing brain surgery, well, then we say, you really should have led with that. Sierra, let's get moving to your local store, like now. Go!
Paul Muad'Dib. You've heard many stories about Muad'Dib. None of them pretty. You see the fear.
No, our resources are limited. Fear is all we have.
Hello and welcome to Unequal Sequel. My name is Dave and I'm one of the two hosts of this lit podcast.
And I'm Rich, and I'm the other host of this lit podcast. Think of me as Garth to Dave's Wayne, because he's foxy. And if I've got to spew, I spew into this.
Love it. The premise of Unequal Sequel is very simple. We ask our guests their best ever sequel, their worst ever sequel, and finally their dream sequel.
And of course, we quite often drift off and talk about some other things. Sometimes movies, sometimes life in general.
And sometimes we do like to drop big fat spoilers to new films, and it's by accident. We're sorry about that. So if that happens, just flip forward a little bit, or go finish your Lego model. You know we've all got one, and then come back, and it'll all be all right. Because on today's episode, we are joined by Jei Ikhinmwin.
Jei is a brilliant YouTuber. You will know him from the Cyber Nerds YouTube channel, which is incredible. Go and check it out if you haven't already.
We're very excited to sit down with Jei and chat all things sequels with him.
These are Jei Ikhinmwin's Unequal Sequels. Enjoy.
So I've got a quick teaser question before we get on to the big main questions, which is, what is the first fucking hell. What is the first sequel you remember seeing?
Six series in and you can't get a question right.
Oh no, it's embarrassing.
Do you know what? Yeah, the first sequel I remember seeing is it's a bit of a banger.
Oh, good.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh,
yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, my dad used to take me to like the films, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to watch what he was watching at the time. So like the first film I ever watched in even cinema was Jurassic Park, like, which obviously is just an amazing feat, like in general for your first film as well. So at home, like Terminator 2, that was it, man. Like my dad used to love Arnold Schwarzenegger. My dad's a big reason of like how film like got onto me and has stuck. So he's gonna come up a lot today. But Terminator 2, Judgment Day is a banger.
How old were you? Do you mind me asking?
Do you know what? Yeah, I can't remember, but I definitely wasn't old enough to watch the film. But I feel like if you're not old enough to watch the film, they're the only films you should be watching. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it goes for everyone in life. Like that should be your rule. Like the rating's only there to break.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I was always the older brother that sneaked my little brother in to watch movies he was too young to see.
There you go.
Was it the VHS on the shelf that your dad was just waiting for you to wait? Like, okay, he's 6 now. He's old enough to see Schwarzenegger's ass.
It was. I'm pretty sure it was a Blockbuster special at the time.
Brilliant.
It was one of those ones. Like, do you get me? Before Netflix, we was in there. We always used to watch a movie. So, like, Terminator 2 was it. I remember everything about it, and I feel like no one. When I talk to people about Terminator 2, they never talk about like the father-son relationship between John Connor and Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the T8 Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. And I'm like, for me, one of the things that I loved having, like, my dad came to London from Nigeria, first generation and stuff like that. So when I see John Connor like trying to teach Terminator about, yo, you have to do it like this, it's kind of like me being first generation born in London, teaching my dad who's Nigerian, like, Dad, we kind of got to do it like this now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many actually like weird ties into reality that, you know what I'm saying, for Terminator 2 was there for me as well. So I love the films, Gangster as well. You get me?
I love that your dad introduced. What other films did your dad introduce you to?
Like, I think Jurassic Park was one of the biggest ones, because I remember that was the first film I ever watched in cinema. Do you know what I'm saying?
I must have blown your mind, yeah.
Yeah, it did. Like, I'm like dinosaurs, all of this, like just mind exploding all over the place. So it was that. There was lots of Arnold. Like, we was on Conan the Barbarian. Like, Arnie was his guy. Like, he's like, I'm an Arnie guy off of my dad.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Brilliant.
So yeah, it was like that. All of Arnie's movies, we were all over, and then obviously, you know, that kind of spills onto the Stallones and the Van Damme. Like, do you know what I'm saying? That was the kind of base energy that Dad was putting out. So yeah, man, tough movie.
Was it like a special treat, or was it like, this is what we're doing every night, we're gonna watch a movie?
You know what? Yeah, I feel like it was just him. It was like his thing. Like, he liked watching movies, and we was always into it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was definitely always on it. I always loved going to the cinema. So it was just like one of our things that we did together.
Oh,
do you get what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's amazing. I still quite like going with my dad. Like, when he's a big Top Gun fan, weirdly.
Come on.
And when Top Gun Maverick came out a couple of years ago, we made a big deal of going to the BFI IMAX together and watching it. Oh, and I think we both looked at each other and just cried at one point because we were so happy and relieved. And I remember afterwards we went and got a drink and got shit faced together as well, because we were so happy that it wasn't bad. After 35 years or whatever it was.
Yeah. Top Gun 2 Maverick is cold. Like, I actually love that. Listen, I'm so glad they waited the 30 years. That's one of the times when the 30 years really mattered, like, and made a difference in terms of just the technology. Like, Tom Cruise being like, yo, we ain't got the technology to do the sequel right now the way I want to do it. I love that. And I love the way they shot it, and it just came together. So I love that. And I love the dad moment for you, man. Like, in films, whenever it gets to like a father-son moment, these are the moments where, like, you can start seeing the cracks in my armor. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they always get me, man. So I love that for you, man.
What other films have you seen with your dad? What are the memories?
Jeez, you're putting me on the spot now. I think no. This is what we're here for. I feel like if we're at the The Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Schwarzenegger one.
Yeah, The Last Action Hero. I feel like that was a banger as well. Toy Soldiers.
Oh yeah, the
Love that movie. Me and my dad used to get. Do you know what? Yeah, some of the movies that kind of like floated around, mixing kind of toyish elements with humans. Do you know what I'm saying? These are all of the ones that like were sliding in there. So those but like I said, Arnie was a big action star. Do you know what I'm saying? My dad's a big guy. I'm a big guy. Like, I feel like it was just like we all felt at home together watching Arnie smash some shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Those were the vibes.
I think about, like, it is a dad thing, isn't it? Watching action movies and stuff. Like, although if I took my dad to the cinema now, he's asleep in like 10 minutes. Like, put him in a dark room and he's gone. Like,
see, that's the thing. I couldn't get my dad to go to the movies right now. But do you know what I'm saying? When I was young, we was in there every single week. So do you know what I'm saying? Maybe it was one of those things. He was like, listen, I can guarantee the boys are going to love this. Yeah. And we just got in there, and once the boys can take themselves, I'm out of it.
Oh yeah. What was your local cinema growing up? Did you have one that you particularly went to?
We had a Showcase cinema, like, and I never go to Showcase. Like, listen, Showcase, if you're listening, no judgment. I think they're kind of terrible. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think there's many left.
Yeah, I think the one next to me might be, like, I don't see them very often, but there's one next to me still here, and it's like our local cinema, and it was just there. It was the closest one. You know, minor risk management, getting there and back. Do you know what I'm saying? But now, I spent a lot of time going to Cineworlds, like, for myself, but then I kind of just bumped them because I'm trying to live a bit of more bougie life, and I'm at the Curzon.
Yes, man.
So yeah,
nice.
I'm a Curzon man.
Would you say your cinema taste has changed over the years? Then are you still like blockbuster heavy, like Jurassic Park, the Terminator 2s?
My film taste has definitely grown, you know. It's like, I feel when I was younger, I kind of watched more, like, a wider base of things, mainly probably because of my dad, because he was picking the situation. Yeah. And then I got locked in very much so into, like, the pop culture genre, where it's like, you know, Marvel, DC, like all of these big blockbuster movies, I was always on them. And what I used to do is I used to like Man of Steel is a great example of it. I love this movie. I used to watch it every day. Like once it got hit, once it came out on like Blu-ray, I used to watch it every day. But then it wasn't until like later we started the Cyber Nerds. I started, you know what I'm saying, making content. We started putting it out there. And then one of the things that I love about Community, and this is why we even put it together, the community were like, Jay, you've got to watch this. Jay, you've got to watch this. And every single day, I've got a list of movies. Like I've got a backlog that's unbeatable.
Oh, tell me about it.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's like my taste. Like I'm obviously pop culture heavy, but like I'm now watching like everything. Like I used to try and avoid the Oscars at all costs, but now I'm like, I need to know, like, what are they wearing? What, you know what I'm saying? Who did this? Who did that? I'm like deep in it now. So it's definitely evolved as my career, I would say, in the industry has evolved.
Yeah.
But film has always been something that I've loved. Like that's nothing, you know what I'm saying? That's something that's always been there. So I just never knew while I was being a professional basketball player that I could also, you know what I'm saying, do film as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I come from a sports background where I'm very tunnel visioned and focused on just a singular goal. And until I really like, even though I was doing Cyber Nerds towards the end of my basketball career, it was like, I was still tunnel visioned in, we've got to win, we've got to do this. And then when I came out of it, I realized I've actually got a lot of capacity for a lot of things. And film is one of the things that, like, you know, I've been dived into, you know, head first, both feet. So
I think that's the thing, isn't it? If you're a sportsman, like we had Jamal Ford Robinson, who's a professional rugby player on, and I think you get pigeonholed. And he's like, it was so nice to talk about something that wasn't rugby to come on and talk about movies, because you get kind of, as a sportsman, you're only supposed to like that thing, right? Just supposed to do that one thing. And
it's crazy. It's crazy. I remember like starting the Cyber Nerds and like doing our first video and like not telling anyone on my team and not telling any of my coaching staff and just really not wanting anyone to find out, because it was like, in my mind, I was like, guys, it's not for you. I know, like, you know how sportsmen are. Like, I'm one of them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I wasn't me, I would have been giving me shit for having a YouTube channel as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not holding any grudges against anyone. I understand the mentality. But it wasn't until like, I think I remember getting an email from Disney saying, "Oh, you're going to the Black Panther premiere," and then I did a lap around the basketball court. Like I could not, like I think half the message was from Ryan. Half the email was like a copy and pasted quote from Ryan Coogler saying, "I want the Cyber Nerds there." I lost it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know it was crazy. I lost my whole mind. So, and then that's when everyone kind of was like, "Oh shit!" Like, got a YouTube channel, it's doing well. Like, good. And then it kind of became more of like a thing. I feel like because other people had accepted it, they was all like on board with it. Or maybe it's just me having, you know, these weird insecurities about how good my YouTube channel was.
I was about to say, so you were a proper little nerd when you were young with your dad watching films, and then you
100%.
And then you came as like the sportsman. Did you like put the nerdiness onto like a back burner and try to
100%.
play it down? And now you've got like this second career that's taken off. And
listen, like that is the story. Do you know what? Yeah. So I'm a big nerd. I'm a nerd from birth. It's funny because my mum used to take me to church every Sunday. She used to take me to church, and the only reason she could get me to go is because there was a comic book store in between the train station and the church. But the comic book store was only open after church. So it was like a definite win-win for her. So after we come out, I take all my collection money. I'm supposed to give it in at church, but I don't. I save it and buy Spider-Man comics with it. So
amazing.
Yeah, I'm getting Spider-Man comics now, and I've been in it, like it's in my blood. Boom, I'm in there. But then I get to about 14 years old. Do you know what? I wasn't the best student in school until I started playing basketball, and they told me, hey, if you want to play basketball, you got to do better at school. And then everything kind of just took off. But from that moment, I kind of like had to, like, as a 14-year-old, seeing everyone else, not that bullying ever affected me, because it didn't. I've always been able to look after myself and stuff like that. But like seeing how the people who love comic, you know, seeing how nerds are treated in school at that time. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and then it's like, and then, you know what I'm saying? And I'm playing basketball. So it's like, I kind of got tunnel vision over there, and they weren't really accepting of it. So it just kind of, you know what I'm saying? It just became something on the back burner, like you said. And I would say there's like this dark period of like maybe like 8 or 9 years where I am fully in basketball. I couldn't tell you what the latest comic book was out or anything like that until, I mean, I get to college in the States and I'm super lonely. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I've just left the UK. I got no friends, no family around me. I'm going to college in the States. I do have my teammates, and that always makes things easier. But like, there was this time that I had to fill. And in that time, I was like, I'm gonna get a PlayStation again. I'm gonna start reading comic books again. I'm gonna start diving into these movies. And then from that day forward, it was just over. Like, there was no going back. I was like fully back on. It's like I had found myself again.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And then even for like, and that's what I'll say, for the next 5 years, I was just almost just like researching and reliving the time I had missed. And then after that, getting back to the UK, it was like 2 years later, got with Sam and Raven, who are my two childhood friends who I was doing the nerd thing with before I went to America, come back, start the Cyber Nerds channel, and then boom, we're going. So that's the vibe, man.
I love that. It's a great story. It's a great origin story of becoming like a superhero kind of thing. I'm going to ask you the big question now. So be prepared. It is, what is your best ever sequel?
Do you know what? Yeah, it's like, I don't think I'm cheating, and I don't think this is right.
There's no right or wrongs here, Jay.
Yeah, there's no, I just want to disclaimer it before, like, I know what X is like. Do you know what I'm saying? But for me, yeah, Dune Part 2, I think is the best sequel to a film I've watched.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, it's tough because I even, like, personally, I try to have rules around when films come out, how I rate them, when I revisit rating them and stuff like that. Right. And Dune 2, like, I mean, I don't think it's out on Blu-ray or anything like this year or on streaming yet. Maybe it is. But, like, I just loved it. And to be honest, I didn't particularly love the first one. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that actually enhanced everything for me. And I never watched the original Dune, the 1968 one or anything like that. I've not read any of the novels. So like I had no real prior knowledge going into it. And I kind of wanted it that way because I feel like I spend so much time knowing everything about everything.
Yeah.
And even though I did watch the Dune trailers, they didn't give anything away. So once I got in there, I was like, raw, this is interesting. But I felt like the first movie left a lot to be desired in terms of like, if you don't know anything, you leave and you know some, but you still don't know anything. Obviously, it's shot beautiful. The music's beautiful. They just said, like, let's get all the best people working in the industry together right now and make, you know what I'm saying? Like, they knew what they was doing, but I feel like the impact that Dune 2 had on me is just, you know, monumental. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's top 5 best sci-fi movies of all time. And you know that when you're like halfway through the film, you already feel that. So, like, I can't wait for like 5 years from now so we can look back and be like, oh, it really is as good as we felt it was when we was watching. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get it. Moment. I normally ask people when they first saw it, but I've watched the video and seen you on X and Instagram looking all sharp at the June 2 Part 2.
Yeah, we was there.
Premiere at the IMAX. What was that whole... Does that... I mean, the IMAX is the only way to see this film. It's fucking 100%, incredible. Does that whole experience like? That were you going? You're like, I'll go for the laughs, but I'm not really looking forward to it, and then it kind of blew you away while you're in there.
Nah, there's not. Nah, it's, do you know what? It's never, in terms of like going to premieres and stuff like that. It's like I want to go to the premieres. I want to get, you know, I want to see the directors. I want to hear from the actors. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be involved in that just generally. But in terms of like the film, it's like after watching Doom 1, it wasn't like one of those films I'm just like, oh, I'm throwing it in the bin, Shazam 2. I'm not going to, you know, like I'm not going to care anymore. It was like I was still anticipating Doom 2 because it's like everything I've heard, they can't not deliver. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's the team they've put together for this is so good. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, like it's so good that I'm like, all right, maybe if part 1 didn't land, we're still here for part 2. So I went into part 2 open mind and was just blown away. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like Greg Fraser, when it comes to like cinematography, like he's just a wizard. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like Rogue One, like just like those 3 films in general. We throw in Doom 1 as well. Like, but like his catalog, he's building a very nasty catalog of very amazing films. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's going, you know what I'm saying? It goes crazy.
What's the bit that sort of stood out the most? What when you think about now, what's this kind of scene that grabs you?
There's multiple moments. There's the scene with the worms, with the sandworms, where obviously, you know, he rides, Timothy's just like, yo, I'm ready. And you know what I'm saying? The worm comes in and like, that part there, then there's another scene where they're all riding the sandworms when they're getting away. So many of those visuals went so hard for me. Timothy and Austin Butler going at it.
Yes.
Like Austin Butler, he's just, oh man, I love it. I just love to see like the physicality that he's got, like the energy that he brings to these roles. I loved him in Elvis. I thought he was great in this. I didn't want him to die at the end because I wanted him. I felt like they could have done more with him. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like in another, like he would have been a good, like almost counterpart to Tim, like just there, just to be going having a back and forth there. But I love him in it. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's that. I thought Zendaya was crazy as well. I love the ending. I love how that ended because I'm here like, it's 2024. They're not going to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? They're going to live happily ever after somehow. Like, there's going to be some sort of happy resolution and it all goes the way it should go. And I love that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like lots of films these days cop out with the ending. And even though there is more to Dune and I don't know what happens in the books and I'm not going to research it and I'm trying my hardest not to get spoiled. But do you know what I'm saying? I like what they did there, man. I loved it. And obviously Hans Zimmer's on the buttons. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Like, what a unit. I know Rich is a big fan of Austin Butler in this film as well. That scene when he's in,
I think he's incredible.
In when he's in the whole one goes black and white, that whole scene.
Yeah.
That high contrast like scene. It just blew me away. I came out of the cinema and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't get it out of my head. It's like it affected me. Like I couldn't like get rid of it, you know? It's incredible, that scene.
No, it really, and do you know what? Yeah, I know it's crazy to bring this film up while we're talking about the amazing, how amazing Dune 2 is, but like it just made me think of For Love and Thunder and how terrible it was when they tried to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, oh man, I'm glad that there's someone sitting in the room who's like, no, I can get this right, and like it just delivered. Like it reminded me of like if you could make Gladiator, like scenes in Gladiator more epic, it felt like that. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like getting that feeling in a sci-fi movie where so many other things are happening and you've got so many great performances. Like it's just like it's hard to think of a sequel that does it better. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really me on like best sequel. Like I just love it, man. I think it's hard. I can't wait for the next.
I love the fact that you went in. Like you've watched Dune, you thought it was pretty good. And then somehow the sequel has become your best sequel ever. Did that take you by surprise?
Do you know what? Yeah, it definitely did. But this happens to me sometimes. Like I feel like the last time this happened was when the Winter Soldier come out. Now, obviously, the difference between the Winter Soldier and the first Avenger is there's a different director. Do you know what I'm saying? The team kind of shifts completely. So I'm like, oh well, it's a different team. But with this, it's the same team, and I feel like. Just for me, I feel like there is a big jump between, Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 in terms of like just how it speaks to me. So I love that. And it's made me just want to go back and watch it more and more and more. Like I said, there's a small asterisk on, I don't think I'm suffering from recency bias, but I might be. But I feel confident in saying that Dune 2 is probably the best sequel that we've had.
Did you see it another time after the IMAX experience?
Yes, I've seen it. So I've seen it 3 times.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen it. Listen, I wouldn't be in here just coming off the premiere. Like, I mean, I could, but no, I've seen it 3 times since it came out, and like it continually gets better. You're picking up more stuff every time you go. Like, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, did you notice anything different between the 3 times?
I feel like the second time, I felt like I didn't watch the movie. The first time, like I was just caught in so much spectacle of everything happening. Do you know what I'm saying? So the second time it felt better and I felt more engaged and I was just like picking up more of the relationships between characters and stuff like this. But I loved it. And one thing that stands out for me as well, the comedy. I feel like they got great comedy in this and I feel like I kind of call it like Nolan comedy. I feel like Nolan is very good at putting comedy in places where you're like, we shouldn't laugh here or this isn't funny. Yeah. And that makes the comedy work even better in serious type or tonally films. And I feel like they did that very well in here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, like Javier Bardem is so important for that.
He goes crazy.
Yeah. He's having great fun in that movie.
Yeah, he goes crazy. And it never feels like he's in a different film. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I like about it. Like they made everything work.
Yeah. So are you a big fan of Denis Villeneuve, if I said his name right?
Yes, I am. 100%.
And so you, at the end, when it ends like an Empire Strikes Back, and did you know there's going to be a part 3 at that point? Because they hadn't announced it. Like I remember watching part 1, and at the beginning it says part 1 comes up, and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know it's going to be a 2-parter or whatever. And then at the end of this film, I was like, okay, I have to watch that third film, and then I got home and I was researching. I was like, they haven't announced this third film yet. What was it called? June Messiah. They planned
Messiah, yeah. So our producer, Sash, is a Dune freak.
Okay.
Like, he is a Dune freak. So I did know about Dune Messiah, and I did think, like, just in terms of even, let's just say they didn't even have a third book.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that he was doing the third movie anyway, because, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to get etched in history here, and trilogies do that for you.
Is he trying to ruin it for the third one for you? Is he trying to tell you stuff about to come, and you're like, shut the fuck up?
No. Not at all. Like, do you know what? Your producer Sash, I can see it melt, like it trying to seep out of him, but he's super professional. He's super professional with it. Like he's respecting my boundaries, my Dune boundaries. Other stuff, Lord of the Rings, he doesn't care about.
Did you get to take him to the premiere?
Yes, he was.
Oh, good.
We was in there. Do you know what? Yeah, there was no way we could have done it without him. It's nuts. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a big part of us being there. He's a great asset to the team. So yeah, he was there.
I'm so relieved that he got to see. Like,
Dune is so important to sci-fi, right? Like, Star Wars doesn't exist without Dune. Like, there's so much that is owed to Dune, and I see a lot of the criticism about these recent Dune movies is the story feels old. And I think that's only because we've seen it so many times, because it's been stolen and ripped off so many times, like, you know, and I kind of get that, but it's so beautiful. They're such beautiful movies. They really are.
No, 100%. I get, like, lots of people do come at me in terms of so, like, obviously people know how big on Star Wars I am. So when Doom was coming out, it was like, like, the original is coming now, not this George Lucas ripoff. And I'm like, listen, I look, I like Star Wars. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing against Dune. I'm open. So I do hear that. But at the same time, I feel like these old stories and telling them how they're being told like this is beautiful. It reminds me of Game of Thrones. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And I'm doing a rewatch of Game of Thrones now in preparation for House of Cards season 2 coming up. And
House of Dragons, mate, not House of Cards.
Gee. Thank you for that. I should make an inappropriate joke about
Space.
See, look, you got
Stay away
there
from
before
that
me. I should be
I can't let him go with that one. He'll listen back and be like, oh no.
So I'm in the middle of the pre-watch for House of Dragons, and the vibes are the same, man. The vibes, the old houses. Do you know what I'm saying? Old law.
Yeah.
This is how things are done. I love that stuff, man. And I think that more films need more of that. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think with Dune 2 as well, the CGI is so good. So it's kind of like Blade Runner 2049. It's like, you could lick the screen kind of thing, and it will feel real 100%. Kind of thing. And
100%.
And you could live in it. And I think that's where a lot of the big blockbusters recently are going wrong. Were like the CGI is they're rushing it, and I don't seem to get that with the Dune films. At least, like you said, technically, those two films are amazing, and they're like
100%.
the dream team is the best way of putting it with the actors and Fraser and Hans Zimmer. It's kind of like a perfect storm of a film. If you had to pick a bad bit about, or something you didn't like about it, or you would change, what would that be?
Austin Butler's death.
Great one.
I'd save him. I like, even if it was in the book that he dies, I'd save him. Yeah. I don't know what this feeling, but I really think that, like, he should have got carried over to the next film. Like, and even I think, it's hard for me to start getting into it and nitpicking anything, because I really did like it.
Yeah, you loved it.
I want more. I know it was long, but I feel like there's a couple cuts where I'm like, there's 2 minutes in there, there's 5 minutes in there, there's 10 minutes in there that I actually need. You can feel that, and when you're feeling that in a movie, that you're like, oh nah, this is a banger, like, it's crazy. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's weird when there's a film like 3 hours long and you want it to be longer.
Exactly. And you know what I'm saying? When I say that to people, they just start looking at me like I'm a weirdo, but I'm like, there's parts of it that they could have let breathe more.
Yes.
But in that, I'm saying, you put a 3-hour epic together and it's beautiful. Like, I can't complain.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, that's right. 100% agree, especially on the Austin Butler stuff. I kind of think his character is so menacing, and he plays it so well. As that was kind of my feeling as well. Is like, I think you've essentially like the bad guy from the first one. They kind of make him just like, Austin Butler just makes him nothing in like 2 minutes. He's just 100%. like Dave Bautista, this massive bloke who's like so bad in the first one, And then Austin Butler's just like, you're nothing. You like lick my boots kind of thing. And like, I want more of that. I want more of him being menacing and evil, and yeah, just get a bit more of that. And I feel like his death's a bit of an anticlimax. Like, I wanted him to be more of a threat, you know. And like, I agree with you. Like, don't kill him. Have him come back. I know it's not in the story, but you know, there's bits that are in the books they did left out and stuff. So, you know,
I feel like whenever you're translating like a media, I feel like it's always needed to change a couple things. Like even if whatever the medium you're taking it from is perfect and you can adapt it perfectly, I feel like if you are not the person who actually made it like that, it is just like you should, like, because I just think sometimes, I don't know how to explain it even. I just feel like there's parts that can be enhanced on different mediums. And I feel like when you get someone like Butler, and like when you cast him in there and you're like, oh shit, he dies at the end, you've got to assess the situation in totality and be like, I think like we might have to do something about this. And I know that sometimes this leads to late rewrites and all of this kind of things that usually for some films end up going terribly wrong. But I think when you've got a team like this, you can trust in everyone involved to make it work. So that's the kind of faith I had there. And that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I totally agree, man.
Yeah. And Timothée Chalamet was excellent. He carried that film brilliantly, I thought.
100%, 100%. And it's like, it was never a concern. Like, he's, you know what I'm saying? He's destroying the box office every week. Like, do you know what I'm saying? He's doing it all.
He makes buck.
Yeah, like there's no issue with him at all, man. I love him, man. He goes hard.
This episode is brought to you by Twizzlers. Long day, late night, feeling a little bored? Twizzlers is the ultimate sidekick for any moment of the day, no matter what kind of day you're having. The perfect level of sweet and a fun excuse to sit back and relax. Unwind with Twizzlers. To buy now, visit Hersheyland.com/Twizzlers.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Oh, such a clutch pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom, too. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
The GOAT!
Go to Blinds.com for up to 45% off. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
What has been the most disappointing sequel? So it doesn't have to be a bad sequel, but you went in high and you came out low.
Most disappointing sequel.
Yeah.
All right. This one is The Matrix Resurrections.
Yes.
That's the new one, right? That's the fourth one.
Yeah, the newest one.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't even, if you, dog shit. Do you know, it's crazy that everyone hates Reloaded and the Revolutions, and then we got that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, The Matrix is, like, it's like a pinnacle moment, like a pinnacle moment in the film industry. The Matrix coming out 1999, like changing the landscape of everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, and then you get 2 sequels, regardless of whatever you think about them, whatever they happened. Some people like them, some people don't. But then The Matrix Resurrections, to bring it back here, and then you got Keanu Reeves back. Like, you pull it off, you get him back, you get Carry-On Moss, and then you recast Lawrence Fishburne with Yahya, which, do you know what? On paper is perfect. On paper is perfect. You're like, okay, we need a younger guy. Yahya's coming up. He was just in it. Like, I see it. But then, like, seeing the final product of what came out of it, I'm just like, oh, like, yous lot missed it. And, like, they kind of missed it with every single thing in, like, for me, not one thing even lands, like, none of it. And the fact that they're in the film making jokes about WB and, like, it all gets so meta and it's just like, just stop it, please.
I hated it so much. Like, I'm an old man and I had a really bad back the day I had to watch it. And I sat in the cinema going, why am I here? What am I doing this for? And like, I just hated it. I hated every second of it.
Like you said, I think the second and third one has its moments. Like the car chase in Reloaded is epic. It's one of the best. And Resolution, I think, it's the Battle of Science, pretty cool, to be honest. The rubbers.
There's things you can take out.
Yeah. Then you get to the fourth one, you think, okay, you don't. When we went and saw it, I think we didn't know what to make of it because the trailers were a bit iffy. But then they had like one of the directors of the original Matrix was back, and
but all the good bits were in the trailer. It's that kind of disappointing thing where the trailer spoils the movie.
Also, like we were saying about the CGI in June being so remarkably good, Matrix, it was just
terrible work, especially coming from the night, like setting the tone in 1999.
Yeah,
and then do you know what I'm saying? We're landing in 2021, and this is what we're getting. Like it's just not a good look at all, man. And it's like sometimes I know money, but Keanu, like, bro, like you gotta stand up. You gotta say something about this.
Yeah, it's so bad. And they're talking about another one.
They're going again.
Like,
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like obviously WB like look at the margins and they're like, oh, this is an IP that we can get 10 movies out of, and it's like it's just the industry as a whole. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like some people, I want to say, might respect their IPs too much, and some people don't have enough respect for certain IPs they have. I feel like there are IPs that should have 10 films. I think that Mission Impossible should have 20 films.
Yeah.
I think that Fast and Furious should go on forever. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I believe. And I think there's other films that you should have one film. I think you should have two films. I think this should be a trilogy and nothing more. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you get situations like this where by the time they're done doing Matrix films, like they're really like it's hard to say that it will diminish the first Matrix, but you'll have more bad Matrix than good, and some people already believe that's happening now. So it gets sticky when you're then just bringing it up in conversation. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think if they go back to basics on the Matrix and go more like the first one, and there's definitely a moment between the second and third one when they kind of believe the hype and they try to go probably too deep with it and too complicated but just bring really cool fucking action that, you know, they shouldn't have dropped bullet time so early on, even though it was mocked in the scary movies and whatever. I think on paper, the Matrix fifth one would work. They've just got to make it really, really cool.
How do you make the Matrix 5?
I'll just put them in leather again. And lots of guns. And, you know, slow-mo rain. And
I don't know what they're going to do with it. And I feel like it's going to be another car crash.
I mean, you cannot beat that hallway scene. You've got any metallic objects on you and he just opens his jackets and the alarms go off and then the music kicks in. You think,
come on.
The next 10 minutes is just... I mean, it was kind of in 99. It was life changing.
100%. I just like, I don't know, the resurrections. It's just I don't know, man. It's just disgusting.
Were you in the room of a premiere of that one, or did you?
We didn't go to a premiere, but I mean, most of these films, like I'm watching, you know what I'm saying, IMAX if I can, or in the film, you know, in the cinema, you know what I'm saying. Definitely The Matrix. We was all out for that.
Nice.
So
did you drag them to see it? Because I dragged a lot of friends at 12 o'clock to see Reloaded. And they didn't talk to me for a while.
See, the trailers for Resurrections gave us clear indication that it was not a midnight screening.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, well, obviously, on the Cybernoise channel, we watch all of the trailers. And it's like, I feel like we're now experts.
I love that, by the way. You guys on that are great.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Experts on trailers and even, like, on the marketing of trailers now. So it's like, we know if a teaser comes out, then the first trailer, and then a second teaser, and it's either it's a really good film or it's a really bad film. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's like they're either overhyping it or there's not enough. Like, so with the Matrix and the CGI, you can't hide CGI in trailers. Do you know? And usually the CGI is not even finished in the trailers. So if it's bad in the trailers, you kind of got indication of how, you know, good it's going to be in the films. So our red flags were up going in.
What is your worst ever sequel?
My worst? Oh, do you know what? Yeah, this is you must have had this answer before, but for me, this one is it's unfortunate, man. David Fincher, 1992, Alien 3. Oh man, you know, starring Sigourney Weaver, $50 million budget.
Yeah, you're the first person to pick it, and I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
Coming off the back of 1979's Alien, you know what I'm saying, the start of sci-fi horror, then the sequel, 1986 sci-fi action, and then Aliens 3. Like, and you know what hurts me even more about it? It's directed by David Fincher. He's one of my top 5 directors.
Yeah.
Like,
but even he doesn't like it.
100. I love that he disowns it as well.
Yeah.
But whenever I see it, it still says you know what I'm saying? Just the stink being attached to him forever. Like, I'm upset for the person who just goes on Google, they watch the Aliens trilogies and they watch this third one and that's their first taste of David Fincher. That always makes me sick for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aliens 3, garbage.
How did you get to Aliens? Did you watch? Was it a year one? Was it a recent watch? Was it when you were young? Was it watch with your dad? Did you watch the first two and think proper hyped? You're like, I can't wait for Alien 3. I wonder what they're going to do with that.
Do you know what it was? I watched Alien 1, 2, and 3. In fact, I just watched all of the Aliens long time ago when they first came out, when I was young. You know, had fond memories of Aliens 1 and 2. Didn't even really remember Aliens 3 that much, besides the gif of Sigourney Weaver and the alien that was just, pop cult. It was out there. But then I go on the Amazon show with Jack Howard like a couple years ago, and we're talking about sci-fis and stuff like this. So I'm like, someone brings up Alien, and I'm like, let me just go and do a rewatch of the series. And I'm like, oh shit, this is how my trauma mind works. It was like, Aliens 3, directed by David Fincher. I'm even thinking I've never watched it before, and I definitely have. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going in, and I'm kind of excited on the low. I'm like, David Fincher's directed an Aliens 3 movie. Like, why is it not ringing any bells in my mind? And then I put it on, and I'm like, oh, this is why. Like, just terrible. Like the practical effects or the whatever they was trying to do. The special effects are nasty. Like, it's just all over the shop. And it's just like, how did we get here?
Have you seen the extras when they put an alien suit on a greyhound?
No, I've not watched none of that, man.
YouTube it, man. It is wonderful.
I've seen, like, obviously I've watched the film, so the clip where it's like the suit's on a dog or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the greyhound dog. It's
okay.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's just, I'm like, why? Like, how do these decisions get made that we get to this point?
I just want to know who made the choice to make it so brown. Like, it's just the first Alien movie looks beautiful. It's black and it's blue, and then the second one is like that really kind of looks beautiful in that kind of like way that kind of, it really kind of like shines through. Whereas this one is so dull and brown and earthy and kind of, I don't know. It's just like, what were you thinking? Like,
it looks flat.
Yeah, it looks flat.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. It doesn't look like they're in the same type of space as the first two movies. Like, they're in a whole different realm, and it's not good.
Well, the problem with Alien 3 is that you've gone from Aliens, which is hundreds of aliens, and you're like, where can we go from that? And the next thing you know, we've gone back to literally one alien, isn't it? Just running around, and is it as bad because the drop off is so horrific from the first two?
I think I try to put in multiple factors. One, the director, because David Fincher is a great director.
Yes.
And it's not directed great. So that's one thing. Then there's the drop off between not just the first movie and it, but like the second movie, like, doesn't try to top the first movie. It just moves into a different direction with the sci-fi action. Like it doesn't try to do the horror better than the last movie, and that's what they should have done with the third one. Like, they should have moved again, like shift again into something else. But they were just like, let's try and carbon copy the first one, or let's try and do a mix, and it just all kind of just doesn't land.
And it's Fincher's like first like feature film, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I think there's a lot of studio interference, because him as a new director, I think he kind of got bullied a bit by the studio in lots of places.
100%.
And I think that's kind of why he doesn't own it, and went back to kind of making music videos afterwards for quite a while, until like 95 when 7 came along.
And do you know what? I'm also very and even though this is one of my worst sequels, I'm also so happy that it did happen to Fincher as well, because we got Seven next. I know he says he was working on Seven before. He was working on this, which I would 100% believe. But like, I feel like what he said to himself after Alien was that, no, I have to make my film, and Seven is his film. And that for me, that Seven and Fight Club, even though Fight Club comes from a novel, they're two definitive for me, like Fincher films. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do love the good things that came off the back of Aliens 3, because I think it put Fincher in a right frame of mind to do what he had to do with, you know what I'm saying, what's in the box and all of this. So,
but as you're, you've made a couple of short films as a Dark Stranger on YouTube. Go check them out. Come on. And would you turn down the opportunity to make an Alien film? If they came to you as like an early director, you've made a couple of shorts, and like, okay, you're following Ridley Scott, you're following James Cameron, you're up next.
That's fine. Do you know what? Yeah, that pressure's fine. I think for me, I'm not even like, with the way I assess the industry and I see some of these things, I feel like some studios may actually be wary of a director like me, because I'm standing my ground.
Yeah.
Like I watch enough film and like just occupy this space enough to know, like, not that all studio interference is bad. It's definitely not. But like, there's definitely a point where you have to let me create. Like, you are hiring me for a purpose. Like, there are people out there that they know they can hire and that they know they can get what they want from. And I think in situations like that, they should go with people like that. And I think in situations where they actually want someone's vision, someone's real vision, their whole vision, that they should go with. And it's like, it's tough, man, because like, even with Rogue One, yeah, you get this, there was lots of studio interference. The director isn't, even at this point, still isn't happy with what happened. But someone like me watching, I love Rogue One.
Oh, it's great.
I would love to see his version of it, but at the same time, because the version I've got is good, I'm not blinking an eye. So it can get very techie with all of the situations and negotiations. But like, I would just hope that like cooler heads prevail, and like, you let, creators create, and you let the executives exec, and they can kind of meet in a happy medium places. And I feel like we're seeing it a lot. Obviously A24 is a new studio, but the creators are getting off over there, and I'm saying, they're winning big over there. So I'm hoping that these kind of studios will start to like affect, the bigger studios, the 100-year studios a bit more. You know what I'm saying?
I also think like we wouldn't have the brilliant David Fincher of today without Alien 3
100%.
being that pivotal moment of his career. He probably looked. I mean, we had Ian Nathan on, who's written a book with Fincher about his career, and he tells a story about when they were doing the special editions in the early 2000s, I think. When everyone was doing their director's cut, and they were going to Fincher, and they were like, "Hey, you've got the opportunity to recut it if you want," and Fincher was just like, "Good luck," and then put the phone down. I mean, he wants nothing to do with this film.
And I'm glad he did that, because I feel like there's other directors that they would have jumped at that opportunity, and I don't think that's not an opportunity that you should always take. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially with Aliens 3, like, there's just no need to touch it, especially after what he's done. Like, David Fincher's like I said, he's one of my top 5 directors, man. I think he's great. I pretty much love most of the stuff he does. The Killer that came out last year, one of my favorite movies of the year.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I feel like it gets overlooked. Obviously, it got a Netflix release and stuff like this, but I think Fassbender's great in it. I think it's directed really well. I really like it, man. So that, and then I'm still begging for another season of Mindhunters.
Which is one of the shows
we all are on Netflix. The shit's cold.
Yeah.
So,
it's amazing that some of the shit they put out, and then they're saying to Fincher they haven't got enough money for it to make one of the best TV series in the last 10 years. I can't. And I've just watched Mother of the Bride or something on Netflix, so I don't understand what's happening over there sometimes.
It's the numbers, It's just the numbers. It's like, even though like Fincher's made this masterfully crafted show that, like, I don't want to say film purists, but people who like are into film will love and understand the shows. Like, I don't know, the reality TV shows, they're gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're pushing the analytics on Netflix. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can see someone just looking at a piece of paper and being, Mindhunters cost this much and brought in this. this brought in this much and brought in this.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then they'll give Zack Snyder 166 million to make 2 of the worst sci-fi movies I've seen.
Oh, you know what?
In a long time.
You know what? Do you know why this does make sense? Because what I feel like what Netflix was buying at the time wasn't what they thought they was buying. Like they're just seeing the hype of the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, this guy directed 2 movies and then put out director's cut that went crazy. Like they're not looking at a deeper narrative. They're not looking at anything. They're not looking at who wrote, directed, produced this, that this was based off something else, or comic books have got 85 years of history. They're just like, that's the director, you go and do it. Here's the blank check. Bring us what you brought in WB. Like do for HBO Max. Do for Netflix what you did for HBO Max with the Snyder Cut. And it like, you can't make that kind of lightning in a bottle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
they were buying for his fan base as well, I reckon.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, and the fan base, like, and I would say I don't know, like, I feel like on X, I get called part of the Snyder cultists or whatever they're called. But like, I just enjoy his films. But like with Rebel Moon, I'm like, I see what you lot would do in Netflix. You should have gave him more time to cook, or you should have just only released the 3-hour director's all blood in version. And if that was terrible, you're only getting slapped with it once. But the marketing program that they went with, where part 1 comes out December, part 2, like, you know, no one's talking about part 2 by the time it comes out. And even me, I'm still here, like, I'm still waiting for part 3 to come out and see if the blood and if it helps it any.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but I just feel like it's bad. It was just a bad plan altogether.
I look forward to that. Back to Alien 3. What is your worst part of it? Is there a really bad scene that really just grinds your gears kind of thing? Is it the way that they treat Newt and Hicks and just kill him off?
Do you know what? There is that, but because it just happened so early, like, you know what I'm saying? In one scene, they're dead. Boom. Just keep it moving. But I think it's anytime you see the actual xenomorph, like anytime they try to show it and it just how bad it looks.
Yeah.
Especially coming off the other films where it just looked so good. Like, I think back to the scene, you know, the chest buster scene for the first time. And I'm like, bro, like, this is what we was doing back then, and look at this xenomorph now. Like, it's just terrible, man. Like, I hate when films can't even, like, you know, stand by the quality that they set for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not good to see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That makes me feel like they're not really caring about the IP or the integrity of what they're working on.
They clearly don't, because everything that's interesting about this movie happens off screen. Like, Newt dying, like, happens off screen. That's ridiculous. If you watched Aliens, you care about these characters.
I think they underestimated that, how much people bought into that.
This is what I was going to say. When you said that, if you've watched it, I don't believe they watched it.
Yeah.
Like, it might seem crazy. I don't believe that if you watched it, there's no way you can make those decisions if you watched it.
No.
And so when you're like, all the interesting things happen off screen because they didn't watch it, and then they just like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, and it sounds nuts, and you would think, this probably wouldn't happen at that level, but I bet you it did.
There is a story about Michael, they're not offering Michael Biehn enough money to be in Alien 3, and then they had to use his likeness on a screen, and they ended up paying more for his likeness than they would have paid him to be in the movie.
Stuff like this.
There's just loads of stories about Alien 3. But recently, there seems to be this turnaround with Alien 3, and people are like, oh no, it's not bad. And
it's bad.
It's bad. I don't get on.
It's bad.
On board
it's bad. The turnaround is there's new Alien content coming out.
Yeah.
That's the turn. That's the only thing it is. When in situations like this, when the new content starts coming around, you're just gonna get people who are just gonna try and cover up the bad stuff. And it's like, for me, I know X and Twitter makes it like, oh, you can't lie, but it's just like, bro, I like Aliens. The third movie's dead. Covenant's here. Prometheus is like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we can get past the one bad movie, like fucking grow up. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
does that mean you think Resurrection's a good Alien film?
Sorry, Alien. No, come on, man.
So it's 2 bad Alien films.
I mean, do you know? I put the Alien. Okay, all right. I was about to be like, they're part of the Predator side of it.
They're the Alien versus Predator. They are bad.
Yeah, I tried to push them over there like that. You get me? Even though I love Prey. Do you know what
Prey's
I'm saying?
great.
Yeah.
More of that, but
Prey is great, but then you've got Alien versus Predator Requiem, which is just horrible.
Nasty work. Yeah, nasty work.
I think for years they just lost track of what made a good Alien film. Like, the first one is so scary, and the second one's really scary. I still, the beeps when they're getting near things, but then they added that brilliant action scene. And then the third one, they took away all the guns and they've only got fire, and it's in like and there's not many characters and there's only one alien, and it all looks flat and it's all very contained. Yeah.
It's not scary. It isn't scary.
Well, that's the biggest. I hope the new one that's coming out this year, is it Alien Romulus? The new trailer looks brilliant, by the way. There's a bit when a load of facehuggers are jumping up on people, and I actually lost my breath a little bit. What do you think that's going to be like?
You know what? Yeah. So the last few weeks, I caught a little injury in the gym, so I had missed out on like
I saw
3 or 4 weeks of trailers. That Alien trailer fell into that blip time, so I've not caught back up on those. So I'm actually excited for it coming. I haven't watched that trailer. Now you're making me want to watch it.
It's good. I think it's a great trailer.
Yeah, so maybe I'll check it out. But like, I like Prometheus. I like Alien Covenant. So I'm actually here for this new era of aliens that we got. I actually really wanted to see the I think it was Neil Blomkamp who was supposed to do an Alien movie.
Yeah, he was.
I was really interested in that when it was being spoken about, but obviously Ridley Scott was like, no one's messing with my stuff.
They were going to bring back Sigourney Weaver was coming back.
Yeah.
Apparently they were going to ignore Alien 3. Michael Biehn was going to come back for that as well. I've seen some of the artwork he's put up.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick. So like, I'm interested in it. I'd like to see it. I'm here for it. Like, I love Xenomorphs, man. Aliens is a legit series.
Well, I'm glad the hatred of Alien 3 hasn't hurt you. Like,
no way.
You're coming back.
Not Michael Fassbender. Legit. Do you know what I'm saying? I said, I like Prometheus. I like I like where they took it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm interested to see where we go with it.
Lovely. I've said this before at the pod, but I went into Prometheus not realizing it was an Alien movie, and it's like halfway through, I've gone, "Oh shit, this is an Alien movie!" Like, and it makes it so much better. You go in without that knowledge, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really like it. It's a really good movie. Everyone in it is stupid, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's a good movie.
This episode is brought to you by Vital Farms. Isn't it bullshit to have to question where your food comes from? At Vital Farms, you can trace your pasture-raised eggs all the way back to the source, the pasture. On the side of each pasture-raised carton of eggs, you'll find the name of the farm where your eggs were laid. And when you look the farm up on their website, you'll get a peek at all the sunshine, fresh air, and open space the hens enjoy. Learn more and find out where to buy them at vitalfarms.com. Vital Farms, keeping it bullshit-free.
How would you like to look 5 years younger? In a clinical study, people that had volume added with Juvederm Voluma XC in the cheeks perceived themselves as looking 5 years younger at 6 months after treatment. Look younger, feel like you. Add volume for lift and contour in the cheeks with Juvederm Voluma XC. Reverse signs of aging by adding volume to smooth laugh lines with Juvederm Velour XC. For important safety information and to find a licensed specialist, visit Juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you.
What sequel seemed like a bad idea, but you ended up liking? I mean,
do you know what? Okay, I got one for this.
Lovely.
Batman vs Superman.
Okay.
Batman vs. Yeah, this might surprise you a little bit.
Yes, it has, Jake.
The reason why is because obviously I love Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So Man of Steel comes out, I'm like, yo, I don't even like Superman personally. So me liking Man of Steel, I was quite shocked, but I was just like, Zack Snyder's got this thing that, he can translate someone into something I can understand a bit more. I feel like what they did with it, like humanizing him, he's wandering, whatever. Who cares whatever anyone thinks about Man of Steel? But yeah, I like it. Boom. So then when, the numbers come out and I know how WB are a bit reactionary. So then when we didn't get Man of Steel 2 and I watched the Comic-Con 4H press conference of Zach talking and he said, well, we didn't know what to do, But I had watched an interview before when Zach was saying, "Oh, we're doing Man of Steel 2 and we're doing this," and I was like, "Yeah, this is what we want," because obviously the Superman that we got in Man of Steel isn't like Superman. It's like day one or even day zero Superman.
Yeah.
The next movie is going to be the Man of Tomorrow. Then we're going to get that definitive Superman trilogy, and where that didn't get to play out. And even though I'm a big Batman guy, where we smashed Batman into the sequel and was like, "Oh, what's the biggest thing, Superman can fight? It's actually Batman." And I was just like, yo, coming off of Nolan's Batman movies, I wanted just something else. We could have just stayed on this Superman vibe for a little bit, but now you smashed in Batman in there, and I just don't feel like, even though I like the film, like I don't love it, I like it a lot, I just felt like Man of Steel 2 would have saved like our collective universe coming out at that point. I think it would have cooled everyone down, and I think WB a lot of the time are very like trigger happy with like doing stuff, and I guess they saw that Man of Steel didn't make $1 billion. I don't think anyone thought it should have made $1 billion besides WB, because they're obviously comparing it to Iron Man 3. That comes off the back of Avengers. Do you know what I'm saying? When they should be comparing it to Iron Man 1, which is the first of their cinematic universe that grossed about 800. And then, you know what I'm saying? That's comparable to Man of Steel. If we had that kind of mindset about it, I feel like maybe it doesn't all like lead to where we are today. And I still am yearning for that Man of Steel 2 movie, which is, Henry Cavill centric. Even though in Batman vs Superman, I feel like if he was just going to take one performance of any singular Batman, I might take Ben Affleck's over any one singular performance of anyone else's.
I feel like we really needed an Affleck Batman movie before we got that Batman vs Superman movie. It's almost like there was too much.
Well, they rushed it.
It was too rushed.
They were trying to get to Justice League like without the Hopper skipping a jump. But yeah, you said so. So when you say you like Batman versus Superman, do you love Batman versus Superman? Is the extended version your version, or were you going in and you're like, I'm not going to enjoy this, and it just surprised you?
Yeah. So I feel like I went into Batman versus after watching the trailers. I was like, all right, like this is just something different. We've pivoted, whatever. So I go in and I'm watching it, and it's like I love so much of it. Like I actually love so much. Like the Batman warehouse scene,
it's great.
Best action, like superhero fighting scene maybe I've ever seen. The relationship between Batman and Alfred, I love. The extended scene is definitely my version of it. But I just don't think there's enough for Henry Cavill, and the third act, Doomsday, and all of that is just not like. I don't love that part of it. Like I feel like it's going very, very well, and then it turns into something else.
Oh yeah, it's really. I mean, it's really daft, isn't it? Because it's like, what? Your mum's name's Martha. My mum's name's Martha. Why aren't we friends? Like,
do you know what? Everyone rips on Martha. Martha doesn't bother me. Martha,
you're a better man than me.
Yeah, do you know what? The reason Martha doesn't bother me is because, for 80 years, their mother been the same.
Never noticed. Never noticed.
Do you know what? And we never know until this one month. I just don't care. Like whatever. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It could have been something else, but there's so many other things. It's just.
It's just that. That being the reason they decide to stop fighting, I'm just like, oh god.
No.
I miss just good old classic Clark Kent, like his goofiness, and like you said, I think a Man of Steel 2 might have ironed that bit out. So, how do you feel about the whole of the DCU universe? I have to ask you because we're in it now. So
the whole of it,
yeah. Let's with the Justice Leagues and what happened to it, and the Aquamans and the Wonder Womans and stuff.
I mean, okay. Where do we start?
Oh god, I feel like I've opened a Pandora's box.
Yeah, where do we even start with this? I mean, in totality, I don't love it all. I feel like they made major missteps. I just feel like they fumbled the bag very heavily. Now, I don't think they fumbled the bag because they didn't copy Marvel step for step. I think they fumbled the bag just because they didn't believe in their own source, and they thought the grass was greener on the other side. Yeah. They're looking at what Marvel's doing instead of focusing what they're doing. They had an opportunity where after the Batman trilogy, they could have came out and did, a Superman trilogy, a Wonder Woman trilogy. They could have done anything. It didn't have to be connected, even though I understand that they think that connecting it is going to bring in major money. There's just different ways to skin a cat, and I feel like WB, like I said, they're super reactive, and I feel like that really hurt them. So I feel like that whole project as a whole was a failure, And the only good things about it are, I would say, the Zack Snyder movies are like the best ones out of the movie. Like when you stand back from it and look at it now, like what are the other DCE movies that are better than the ones he made? Come on, have you got some?
We did a rating of this, and we both kind of like Birds of Prey. And we,
no.
We have fun with
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're saying Birds of Prey is better than Man of Steel.
I think so,
we did. Yeah, where he said, yeah.
That's crazy. I can't co-sign that at all.
That's right. The Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad, we thought was very, very good. Wonder Woman, the first one.
I'll take Suicide Squad over Birds of Prey.
Okay, good.
I'll take Wonder Woman over Birds of Prey, and I might take Wonder Woman. I might take Wonder Woman over James Gunn's Suicide Squad as well.
Oh, good. This is what I love about films. You can just have these discussions.
You can talk about this. This is amazing. This is why we do this podcast, is because we can't all agree. Like, we all have different opinions and stuff. I really don't like Zack Snyder stuff. Like, as a director, I really don't like his style.
You don't like Watchmen?
No.
He makes a
really
pretty picture. Come on.
Yeah, he does. He does. I just don't like his storytelling style. It's not for me. But that's okay, right?
The thing is, I don't disagree with you. I feel like you get the best Zack Snyder when someone else is writing.
Yes.
100%. Listen, like I said, I'm not a cultist. I can see it. I can see it plainly. But at the same time, I do feel like the way he visually represents,
he's a brilliant DOP.
It's unmatched. It's actually unmatched. And I understand, like, you know, the DOP statement. I hear you on it.
I love
it. But
it.
at the same time, he's also, I don't know how to. I would just say I feel like Zack Snyder's too big to be a DOP for someone who just like isn't Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. Or Denis Villeneuve or someone.
And then if you start pigeonholing him into that situation, he can only do one movie a year. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I still think that, like, if he, I don't know what he's doing at home, but like, if he stepped back and looked at his game, like any good athlete does, do you know what I'm saying? He'd be working on that. So I don't ever want to like write someone off or stuff like that. I feel like Zack Snyder has got, 50% of it down on lock, and that there's room to improve. But I do think that everyone's still got room to improve, even the best of us out there. Like, you asked me the question in Dune 2, what nitpick it?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we do here. So I feel like there's hope for Zach to still keep improving, because I would hate to see him go out on like the stench of Rebel Moon 1 and 2. Like, I don't think he deserves that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I think we all take something different from movies as well. It's like me and Dave are really different on what we like
massively.
from movies. Like, I like a really talky story, dialogue heavy movie, whereas Dave is much more about a visual action kind of style. Yeah. Give me an Aaron Sorkin where there's just two blokes in the room talking every day. I'm there for that. So that's why we do this podcast, is because it's brilliant to get other people's points of view, and I think that's an amazing thing. So yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'm used to it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the you know what I'm saying? It's why we get into
the community. It's why you do Cybernerds.
Yeah. Like, I love that everyone can disagree and agree and agree to disagree.
Yeah,
and I think
as long as you don't go violent or like name calling, that's when the problems happen.
This is what I was going to build to, because it's like, I feel like as people who make content around film and entertainment, it's also our responsibility I feel like it's my responsibility to almost negate, like, direct the energy in the correct way. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know if you follow me on X, like, I get saucy, like, I'm going to give it as good as I get. But at the same time, I'm doing it for the bet. Like, I want all of us to come together and have fun with this, as opposed to just like sending death threats to actors.
That's ridiculous.
Let's all just calm down. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, everyone got angry when Heath Ledger got announced to do the Joker in Dark Knight, and look how that ended up. So
yeah, I mean,
that was
you're never going to stop trolls online, but I feel like as the better people in the situation, or the bigger people in the situation, I feel like we've still got to like have fun with it, and I know like the people who are doing all of the nasty talk, they always just sound louder than they are. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So, and yeah, man, we're in it.
Talking about having fun. What's your dream sequel?
My dream sequel, is written. It's written by me.
Okay, cool.
It's directed by James Samuel, and it's The Bigger They Come, and it's the sequel to The Harder They Fall.
This is a great choice.
Good choice. We only watched recently. It's on Netflix from your picks.
Wow.
Somehow it just completely missed me by, but wow, what a refreshing take on a Western that is. It's fucking the music
incredible.
and
it's incredible.
I had so much fun with it.
Yeah, I love Westerns. You know, when I was in school, I went to university in America. I lived in Oklahoma for 3 years. And I didn't realize how much of a cowboy it turned me until I left and went other places. So since I've left, I've just like always had this affinity for like Westerns, standoffs, you know, The Mandalorian's a show that I love.
Yeah.
I watch, I'm on all the Westerns. I play way too many hours of Red Dead Redemption in a week. And when I saw this James Samuel Western, I was just like blown away because he gets it. I love the whole cast of it.
The cast are incredible.
Yeah, and it just lands everywhere for me. Like Jonathan Majors is sick, Idris Elba, Zazie Beetz, Regina King. Like, it's so good. And then even his new movie, The Book of Clarence, that just came out as well, also a banger. I don't think it's out in the UK now, but when you guys can get a chance,
I think it's come and gone, mate.
Yeah,
honestly,
it went really quick, didn't it? But
I think a couple of weeks ago.
Because the US release was like 4 months ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So I caught it, and then I was also waiting for it to come out in the UK, but I'd already seen it just to tell everyone to watch it. But that's crazy. Like, it's really good as well. But yeah, that would be my sequel. I would continue that story.
But say, what is your script? Go for it. Tell us all about it.
All right, do you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna give you a little synopsis here. So you see the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the film, blah, 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 they shoot each other. What would happen is there'd just be a little pan out and there'd be a little boy at the top of the stairs, and it would be Idris Elba's son who sees the chain of events happen the same way that Idris Elba showed up to his house, scarred him, but Jonathan Majors would not know that Idris Elba's son is there. So now where Idris marked Jonathan Majors and said, I'm going to know when you're coming back, he would not know that this is Idris Elba's son grown up. Do you know what I'm saying? To get the revenge. So that would be the main like arc of what's happening. Like lots of people always tell me that like, oh, you've got to stop the circle of violence, but it's a paradox.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I would continue that paradox and just show the events of like how we think that, you know, obviously his family got murdered, stuff like this. How we think it could end, it usually doesn't end there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you never tie up all the loose ends are never tied up. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd roll it from there and I'd keep going. So
would you have the same kind of flavor, like the music, or would you change that a little bit as well to something different as well? Like this, what makes The Harder They Fall stand out a little bit more is that soundtrack, which is
I would definitely I love James Samuel's music. I love that he does the music, and this is why I definitely have him back to direct it and all of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because there's like an essence there that I would want in the film as well. Do you know, like it's some of the camera work that I love. Like when they have the standoff where he doesn't know the guy standing behind him and the camera slightly shifts, then it slightly shifts again, and it's just giving up more perspective and more perspective. I love these kind of things. So yeah, it would tonally be quite similar, but yeah, just a completely new story and just be different.
You need that young boy, that Idris Elba's boy, to be as good as Chase Dillon is in this, because his performance, that little boy, is quality. Like it's such a good performance, and if you got another child actor who could do that, you know, I think that's quality. But the cast are all amazing in this movie.
It's an incredible cast. So I have to beat around the bush with spoilers. Who would you bring back? Because a lot of them don't make it out at the end of this film. Of how do they? Fall.
I mean, without spoiling it, I would say
you can do spoilers. We put out a warning at the beginning. It's fine.
Everyone that survives would be back.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell you how long they'd be back for.
Nice.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there'd be a big turnover of characters, but I feel like I'd have almost an equal amount of new cast members that were like almost the same level as the cast we've got now. Because I feel like just having that cast like was so important to the film. Do you know, I feel like it doesn't work as well without just legitimately that group of people. So I'd like to put together another group of people just as good and get it done.
Yeah. Would you, I don't know how to put this, would you wait and have to wait like 20 years? So, 2048, wherever it's going to be. Or would you age the actors up? Or make Jonathan Majors a little bit older? And when would you release it? Like, I
wouldn't wait the 20 years.
That'd be mental.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait the 20 years. I'd do it whenever we could do it. Like if we, you know what I'm saying, a couple years, it just after Book of Clarence, like 2026 release, 2027 release. Now I feel like I'm actually pitching it to
That's what we do. Well,
okay.
Rich is a dream producer.
Yeah. So if I get the email today, I would say, 2.5 years, something like that. We can get it done.
Would you want more of a cinema release for it? Do you think that's where maybe The Harder They Fall failed? Did it go to cinema or was it straight to Netflix?
It went straight to Netflix. I don't,
because this would look great built on big screen. This film.
It would, yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with not going to cinema. And I know this is like a new kind of take-ish thing on it, but like we're just in a different time now.
Yeah.
Not everything can go to cinema. Some of those middle movies that we used to watch in the cinema, they're just going to go straight to streaming. And back in the day, there would be a dip in quality. There's not anymore. So we can't have, I don't think people should have that mindset of, it didn't release in the cinema. It can't be a blockbuster or it can't do numbers. So I would be happy for it to go straight to Netflix or wherever it went, as long as people got to see it. My biggest concern would more so be around the licensing, because I don't like the fact that movies can go to Netflix and then you lose the licensing and you will never see it again ever.
I find that very strange. I can't get my head around that.
It's a digital thing. So you'd have to just try and tie in at least a physical release, but then obviously physical release costs more money. So you can it does get techie. So I would just want to make sure that it was able to live forever. That would be, because when I think back to films like Fight Club, come out in 1999, it didn't do well at the box office. People didn't review it well. It's one of my favorite movies and it's a cult classic now. Like, you don't get to be a cult classic if you don't stay on the shelf.
Yeah.
You just have to be accessible. And I think that's one of the things where if Netflix can keep it together, they potentially have like a great opportunity of just a library of stuff. And it's why, and they should look at Disney Plus for this as well, because Disney Plus came in with the library. Do you know what I'm saying? And now they're having to add new content where it's like, Netflix, like you're getting movies that should be in the cinema. Like, make it a thing. Like, I don't want to give Netflix too much business advice, but I've been believing that Netflix should have started buying. I know they have over there started now, but I've been saying that Netflix should be buying cinemas. Like straight away. They should have been buying cinemas from the beginning. Do you know what I'm saying? And your membership card, I've got Netflix at home. That means you get straight in.
That's a good idea.
You don't have to pay extra premium. You still pay for the drinks and the food. So the vendors are still getting paid for, but my Netflix membership, whether it's a premium home cinema, outdoor cinema membership, that's £25 a month or £30 a month, gets me to go to as many films as I want, and I can watch as much as I want at home. They're going to win.
That's a really good idea. So you've pitched a film and
and a new business.
A new business.
I'm a man of many talents. I'm a great businessman. I love film and I can dunk on people.
Because it's funny, because me and Rich, before we came on this, we were talking about how the box office, they have to rearrange what they're aiming for. And we were looking at 2014 the other day, and like 7 out of the top 10 films were all made $1 billion. And then I'm not quite sure if a film's going to do that this year. Maybe Deadpool versus Wolverine. So the films like They Harder They Fall, which probably has a budget between 30 and 40 million. I can't imagine it had a big budget. I think these are going to reap the rewards of what people are going to watch.
I think the budget for Harder They Fall was $90 million.
90? Okay, I should shut up and find out what.
Well, you can't put that cast together for like peanuts.
This is what I'm about to say.
Oh, that's good.
And Jay-Z's one of the executive producers on that.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those situations where it's like, I'm sure they got a little bit of a bump from outside sources and stuff like that to really make it happen. But like I said, I think it's worth it, and I feel like we need more of these.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, why stop at one more of these? Have you got any? What was the name of the one? Because you put it in the email of your dream sequel.
The Bigger They Come.
The Bigger They.
Yeah, The Bigger They Come.
Yeah.
I mean, that writes itself, doesn't it?
It's already there. It's already there.
You could do a whole series.
You could.
I mean, It's not my listen. This is not my. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. But if you're asking me, James Samuels, I'm out here and I can help out. You get me? And he's a good London guy as well.
Those were Jei Ikhinmwin's Unequal Sequels. I really enjoyed that. Like I enjoy every episode we do, but I especially enjoyed that one. You know,
he's a cool man, isn't he?
He's so cool
and relaxed and just
unashamed about being nerdy too. I love it. I love it when people are nerdy and embrace it, but don't realise they're also incredibly cool at the same time. And he's 6'6" like me, so I always appreciate that.
I felt very short in that conversation, to be honest. Jay's a lovely guy. His picks were great. Obviously, we had a newish, very new film, didn't we, for best film, best sequel, which was Dune Part 2. So hopefully everyone has seen it when we were talking about it. If not, I hope you did go and finish your Lego model and whatever. But I don't think we gave any massive spoilers in it.
Not massive one.
Massive spoiler. But I think I love it when we can talk about new films, to be honest. And especially if we're so passionate about it.
Yeah. And it's nice when we get like, a new sequel crops up into these things, because we always worry we're going to get the same old sequels over and over again. And to some extent, we do get repeats, but I have a feeling Dune Part 2 is going to be one that comes up again and again now.
I feel like it's going to really creep in there. You know what? I don't mind talking about it at all.
No, me neither.
It's a good one. Like Jay really likes it, and what I liked it even more is that he didn't like the first one. Yeah. So somehow Part 2 just like really hit him hard.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think. Well, it's kind of like me and Blade Runner 2049, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that is true. That is true.
Which,
a lot bigger gap though. And quite a different movie, I would say, 2049.
Still looks good, though. Still Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
That man can make sequels.
Absolutely. And you know who can normally make great movies? David Fincher. But not in this case.
Just take a minute for that. Very good.
Alien 3 is worst sequel. It's right.
Alien 3.
He's right.
Is that the first time you've watched it for a while?
It's the first time I think I've watched it ever. No, it can't be. I must have seen it before, but certainly the first time I've watched it. What? No, it might be the first time I've ever watched it. I can't remember.
It's definitely one of those films or sequels that you can't just banish from the back of the back of your head, inside out too, guys, and brain forget about. Because you're watching like, this is mad. It's a little bit mad with the decisions they made in that film. And David Fincher, who's
famously doesn't like it either.
Famously doesn't like it, and one of the best directors working today. And it doesn't look or feel like a David Fincher film, and has a lot of studio interference, I would say. And
absolutely.
Especially when you're following Alien and Aliens. Christ Almighty, the balls in that man even say yes to that. He previously, before that, did music videos, like famously.
It's his first
Madonna
feature
films,
film, isn't it?
Videos like Vogue and stuff, isn't he? So
it's just his first feature.
Wow.
And then The Harder They Fall was Dream sequel, which is a great choice.
I loved watching that.
It's a great shout. I really enjoyed that movie.
Never seen it.
No.
I can't really say I heard of it before either. Went
Did
straight
it come
on
out in
Netflix.
the pandemic? Straight onto Netflix? Is that the?
It was either maybe not the pandemic, but maybe that period when we could go out, but no one was like worried about.
Right.
But it didn't get a cinema release, like we said in the episode, and that cast is extraordinary.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And the music and the sound, and just a really cool Western, which is hard to do because some Westerns can feel, shit. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, the tropes of Westerns
have
been done to death, right? And I think you also, it's a real nice kind of twist on a Western as well, like different kind of, a perspective on a Western. It's definitely worth watching. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like Jay's take on it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the bigger they come, the sequel.
Writes itself, guys. Writes itself. And I liked he backed himself to I'm going to write this. Fair play.
I like it. And he does make his own movies, right?
He's got, he's making his own short series on YouTube. So go check that out. It's called Dark Stranger. Parts 1 and 2 are on YouTube now. But obviously, where I know Jay from is from the Cyber Nerds on YouTube. And now, if you haven't checked out the Cyber Nerds, you should. They're great. There's
it's a
3 of
brilliant
them.
YouTube channel. It really is.
And I love their trailer reactions because obviously they play it back. They watch it once and they hype, and then they go watch it again. And I just love, I don't know, it's just different flavour to what I've watched or listened to. And I love that. And Jay's so cool on it and, expressive. And it's just a great, like we talk about in the episode, it's like this wonderful community that they're creating over there on YouTube. And it just shows how good YouTube can be.
Oh, absolutely.
People like us. And
I watch a lot of YouTube. I probably watch YouTube more than I do TV these days.
Yeah, you're really on it, aren't you?
Yeah, so much so that my son begged for YouTube Premium so he doesn't have to watch adverts.
The adverts on YouTube are mad.
Yeah, we caved.
I bet you didn't argue very much.
No, I didn't argue very much. No, it's true.
So yeah, go check out Jay stuff. Go check out the Cyber Nerds. They're a great team and very inspirational. And I love watching their reactions to new trailers. And this is why I tried. A while back, I thought, we got a YouTube channel, our episodes go on it. We don't really do anything on it. And I was trying to think maybe me and Rich could do trailer reactions. But then you watch people.
But what's the point? Because they do it so well.
Well, this is the point. When you watch people like the Cyber Nerds do it, you think, well, that's gone. It's very similar to our original idea for the podcast. And then we found the sequelizers. And we thought, there's no point doing the original idea now.
They do it better than we do, yeah.
They do it better than ever. So there's no point in us doing trailer reactions at all because go and watch Cyber Nerds because it's great. Anyway, thank you to Jay for coming on. It was so cool. And he was a great guy. Go listen to his extra, the sequel sessions. It's a good one.
It's a really good one, yeah.
We talk about YouTube. We talk about, again, the Cyber Nerds. We talk about
basketball.
Films, basketball. Oh, man, that's such a good conversation. So go check that out. Check out Jay. He's brilliant. Thank you, Jay. I feel like I'm rambling. It's over to you.
Always ramble a little bit, mate. It's good. It's fine. That's what people are here for, right? And and if you love Dave's rambles, there's hundreds of them. Go back and listen. Go all the way back in time to 3 years ago, back to episode 1, season 1. Maybe don't go back that far. The audio quality is a bit rubbish, but the guests are incredible. So I would definitely recommend going back into listening a few of those because the guests are so good. And I'm sorry about the audio quality. We didn't know what we didn't know back then. We just didn't know. But, we're getting better all the time. And it's you guys listening that mean that we can buy new equipment and get better. That's what happens. We put all the money back in the pod.
We do.
That's how it works. But if you want to listen to, Dave mentioned some of the sequel session of Jay's episode where we talk about all these extra things, and it's really good and really fun, then you need to get yourself onto anotherslice.com/unequal sequel and pay $2.99 a month, which is an absolute bargain because you get 3 extra podcasts. For your $2.99 a month, you get 4, maybe even 5 sequel sessions, and I think it's a bargain. I really do. £3 for all that. It's pretty good going, man. So yeah, get onto anotherslice.com/unequal sequel and sign up. Get yourself onto social media. Tell other people about the podcast about Unequal Sequel on all the socials. Let us know what you thought of Jay's choices. Let us know what you thought about these movies. Maybe you're watching The Harder They Fall for the first time and want to tell us how great it is. Get on there and do that. You can also send us an email. We are unequalsequel@hotmail.com. So get on there and tell us what you thought about these movies we watched this week. And we'll read up all your comments at the end, in the end of month roundup. Also, if you happen to be on your pod player of choice and fancy giving us a little rating, 5 stars, little like, little ticky, that kind of thing, tap us out a review. Helps other people find the podcast. We would really appreciate it.
It does. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, that was episode 6 of season 6.
We're halfway.
Halfway through this.
Woohoo!
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
It's a good marathon, though. It's not the kind of marathon where you get horrible blisters.
No.
It's the kind of marathon you want to be in because it's fun.
It's like the London Marathon, which is the most painful and awful thing I've ever done, but also the most wonderful and brilliant thing I've done at the same time.
I think that's a bad analogy for this podcast, mate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got 6 more fantastic episodes from 6 fantastic people coming up with a lot more best, worst and dream sequels. Next week's weeks is a bit of a ride, so get ready for it.
Oh, I've just remembered what we talk about next week.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah. And it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye. And it's a goodbye from him.
Bye!
See you on the next one. Stick to this one. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
You've reminded me of next week's.
I know, because we record these so far in advance sometimes that sometimes we forget what we talk about, and then a little inkling and you're like, oh yes.
Something's going to happen next week, which is my favourite thing to happen on the podcast.
Leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, here we go. I've been told to make a trailer, and they said to make it impactful and memorable. So here we go. My name is Dave Curtis, and I will guarantee you probably haven't heard of me, but I host a podcast called Unequal Sequel, and I love movies. Well, this is a new podcast. If you can do something, it's better to do something impossible, because it feels good. Well, I've set myself a mission impossible. You'll see why that's clever in a minute. You may not know it, but Tom Cruise sends loads of people a cake at Christmas. I have set myself a quest to get Tom Cruise to send me that cake. How, you're asking? How, Dave? How is that going to happen? Well, you have to listen to the podcast and find out. That's literally what the podcast is about. It's about Tom Cruise, his career, and me getting the cake from Tom Cruise. Sounds fun, doesn't it? How about you listen along? It's called The Great Tom Cruise Cake Quest. And it will be available wherever you get your podcasts. I don't know about you, but I think I nailed that.